fast as I can. And remember, you got me all afternoon and evening. I'm available for conversations. Just come, let's chat. So one of the things I've seen and witnessed is people quitting their full-time job too early in this business. And it's detrimental to your survival. If you quit we had a guy in our group that quit at Pro 6. He quit a 6-figure job when he was at Pro 6. Do Pro 6s make 6 figures in LifeVantage? No, they do not. Now he went from 4 to 5 to 6 really quick, so he just thought he was going to Pro 7. Okay? And it didn't work that way. And a lot of times it doesn't work that way. 1.5, whatever you need to live on. Okay, whatever your income is. So if it's if you're earning $100,000 a year, you need to be earning $150 with LifeVantage. Not 100, 150. It's 1.5% of what you're earning now. When you're earning 1.5% of your current earnings, you've got enough scars of your own. You've been through enough battles of your own. You understand this business well enough that you're prepared to do this full time, but usually not before that, okay? And every country is a little bit different, but you know what you earn in your country. More times than not, if people quit to do this full time too early, they end up quitting LifeVantage. They start doing LifeVantage part-time, not their other job full-time, okay? I've got a lot of that in my organization. I've got probably 24 former, well, they're still elite distributors. They still got the rank. They're Pro 7s, but all of them are back doing their other jobs. All of them. Well, all of the 24. Okay, I think we've got 65 elite distributors in our organization. A lot of them are back to what they were doing before. And let me tell you, that's bad news because you told all your friends you quit. You told all your friends that jobs are stupid. And now you're back doing it. And you're there. Ooh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one, okay? 1.5% is really safe. And let me tell you what to do with that LifeVantage money. Get rid of debt. Don't spend your LifeVantage money. Get rid of your debt. Get rid of your credit card debt. Get rid of your car debt. Maybe even get rid of the debt of your home. I don't know. But get rid of your debt. Because if you're earning $50,000 in your job and you're earning $75,000 at LifeVantage, you're sitting pretty, aren't you? More than double what you're making right now, right? You're sitting pretty. Don't go buy a new house. Don't go buy new cars. Pay off your debt. Okay? And if you do that, people are going to flock to your business. You know why? When you don't have any debt, your invite is so much better. You have the biggest chip on your shoulder. And if someone tells you no, you just don't care. You feel sorry for them. You feel sorry for them that they aren't making the money you're making and they have debt. You get rid of your debt, your business will explode. Try me. Just try me on that. Go get rid of your debt and your business will explode. Your LifeVantage business will explode if you just don't go buy new cars and houses. Okay? I know people in network marketing that are making $500,000 and $1 million now and never made it before, and they're in worse financial situation than they were before network marketing because they're spending it all. They're spending it all. Okay, so be careful with that. So if you're making $50,000 a year right now, US dollars, you need to be a solid Pro 6 to Pro 7 before you quit your $50,000 job. If you're making $100,000 a year, you need to be a really solid Pro 7, not a new Pro 7, a solid Pro 7 to Pro 8 before you quit that other job. Okay, and you can do it, guys. I ran 6 corporations till I was a Pro 9. I ran 6 corporations till I was a Pro 9, and I drove a Honda CR-V until I was well into my Pro 9. Okay? It's just what my choices were, but that's one of the reasons why I'm a Pro 10. I had no stress. No stress, and I knew network marketing was going to work. Okay? So just be careful what you do with your money. It'll set you up for success or failure later down the road. Let's talk about your environment a little bit. We'll move a little bit quicker. I'm going to just paraphrase this. The saying basically is it's impossible to pull someone up unless you're standing on higher ground. Okay? And as Pro 5s now, it's your job to really start, for the most part, your upline's been lifting you. For the most part. In some cases, you might be all there is in the upline. But for the most part, when you are in those bad days, you're calling uplines and they're helping you get through the mud. Okay? But you're embarking now on where you're the one that's going to be pulling people out of the mud. All right? You're the one that's going to be helping people, and you have to be standing on higher ground to do that. And a big part of what will allow you to do that is your environment. Now, your environment sometimes is not fully in your control. Your home life, all right? This is a little touchy subject, but sometimes the most negative environment lives under the same roof as you, okay? And I'm strong on commitment. When you make a commitment, you stick to the commitment, but everybody has to make their own personal choices, okay? But there's a strong message you send to your team when you say you're going to do something and you do it. And it's in all phases of your life. Your team's watching you, just like your children. You're going to do something, you do it, right? And so if there's some negative environment in your home, you have to counterbalance that with positive environment, good environment, okay? If you're spending 2 or 3 hours with a negative voice in your ears, you need 4 or 8 hours with good stuff in your ears, okay? You just have to, or you won't survive. You won't survive it to the elite ranks, okay? What are some of the things you can do other than just getting with other people? If you're in an environment, maybe you're in a work environment, maybe where you're working in your job, it's just a real negative environment. And when you get home after work, you're just tired. You're just so tired. You don't want to go to the meeting. I know there's a meeting across town, or I know there's a meeting 45 minutes away. I just don't want to go. I'm so tired. You need to go to the meeting. You need to plug into those meetings. You need to be plugged into your LifeVantage family, because the LifeVantage family is where you're going to get the counterbalance. Okay? So a lot of times people start, when they get really run down, they start thinking about themselves. And the downside of that is this, write this in your notes, either you need the meeting or the meeting needs you. Either you need the meeting or the meeting needs you. So if you're down, you better be at a meeting. It's the only way out. And if you're sky high, like my man right here, he needs to be at the meeting so he can build everybody else up. Okay, you enrolled a bunch of people this week. The meeting needs you. They need your energy because they're coming in low energy. Okay, either you need the meeting or the meeting needs you. Nothing will build your environment like the big LifeVantage events. And I know Australia, you guys do a great job with big events. So make sure you're making the sacrifices to be at those events, because there's the only things that's going to help you survive this run to Pro 7. And I know that it's going to kind of cross over into some of the other things I want to talk about. But being at the bigger events is huge. And your future, when I'm going into markets and I'm working with markets, if you want to know what your business is going to look like 6 months from now, all you have to do is track the amount of people that are at the big events. So when was the last big event in Australia? January. Do you know how many people were on your team at that event in January? If you don't know, you need to know. And you should be trying to bump that number by 10 to 20% at the next event. If you bump those numbers in attendance by 10 to 20%, just some crazy way your volume bumps by 10 to 20%. It's the way it is. You can track your business by event attendance. You need to become like world class at promoting events. Because events are what changes people. Like, you ever had a distributor that they're doing, we all do, doing nothing? They're just doing nothing. Well, guess what? You're not going to help them. But an event will. An event will change them. You won't. Okay? So if you want to save your breath and your energy, just do whatever you can to get that person to an event. All right? And it'll save you a lot of heartache. So environment-wise, that's big. Your decisions, when I'm talking about your environment, you need to think about the environment that you exist under, and then the environment you're creating for your team. So be aware of your team's environment. Be aware if you've got a teammate that is in a bad environment, and do your very best to help them counterbalance that as well, right? When it comes to distractions or your decisions, as far as environment goes, and this is a tough one for me to say, but I'm going to say this. My name's Brandon, and I am your friend. Learned that from John Maxwell, right? Up until now, you didn't have to attend events, but now you do. I mean, you don't have to, but don't expect to be a Pro 6. My name's Brandon, and I'm your friend. You have no chance at Pro 7 if you're not going to events. Unless you're just the luckiest network marketer I've ever seen. Somehow there's 3 legs underneath you and they are killing this and don't care about you. But I don't see that too often. Okay? So, the best way I ever heard this explained, and maybe in Australia, it's an Australian rules football, right? Rugby, right? Is that like the big sport?
Rugby league.
So if you're a professional rugby player,
That's in New Zealand.
okay. Work with me here. Work with me here. Work with me. If you're a professional athlete in Australia, and it's your birthday, the day of the game, you play?
Yes.
Or you guys want to be professional network marketers?
Yes.
Go to the event.
Yeah. Oh no, I hear a lot of I've got a special event, something on, and I can't come to the event. I'm just saying.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That's what I do.
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a wedding that's coming up. Work on scheduling the wedding on a do your deal. Like women, you guys get what you want. Women always get what they want. Just go make sure that wedding is not on the day of an event. I just did that with my cousin, my nephew. He just got engaged. I'm like, there's 2 weeks you can't get married. It's in October and December. You can't get married on those days because I'm out of the country. And he looked at me laughing. I'm like, I'm not laughing, dude. Like, you can't get married then. If you want to be a professional network marketer, you can't act like an amateur. Amateurs don't go to events, pros do. My name's Brandon. I'm your friend. Okay?
In 13 years, I've never missed an event, Brandon. Not one ever.
And that's why you're so successful. And it's been hard, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've had missed funerals. I did miss weddings. I wasn't in them, but I have told people if you have your wedding on that day and I'm in it, I will not be at your wedding.
Yeah. But you're also at those people's beck and call when they need you, and they appreciate that.
Absolutely.
They'll forget about you not being in the wedding if you show up when they really, like when they're dead broke and they need $5,000, they'll forget about it. Make a culture environment. You guys should work on a culture so sticky that people will stay in your team even if they're not making any money. We made a big mistake with that. Early on, we had this real business forward culture, and man, we ran so many people out of our team. We were like, if you're not an elite distributor in a couple years, you're like on the wrong team. Like, we didn't say that, but we acted that way. And that was bad. Ooh, that was bad. So now we really do things intentionally that someone wants to be around us even if they're not making any money.
Can you explain? Can you have an example?
Let me see. We have fun in events, like a global convention. We're going in early and we're doing some fun stuff before the event. A day before the event to do some fun stuff. I don't do the happy birthday stuff because everybody does it that day. I do stuff the day before or actually a week before. I do happy anniversary a week before because no one else in the world is. That makes people stick around. Okay? We also know where our bread is buttered. Your bread is buttered from new distributors to Pro 3. They're the life of your business. So we put a big emphasis on the Pro 3 rank. And they're making money at Pro 3, but Pro 3 is close, they'll stick around. Pro 1 or Pro 2, they'll quit. if they don't like the culture. Even at Pro 3, they'll quit if they don't like the culture. Okay? A couple $100 a month is not enough if they don't like you. They'll just quit. Okay? Let's talk about distractions a little bit. Need to keep moving quick. You can take the word New York out of this quote and just put network marketing in its place. There are going to be a lot of distractions in your business. A lot of distractions. Some of it's self-imposed, and some of it just comes your way because of the team. But it's something that you need to really work on limiting, because distractions is what slows your chase down to Pro 6 and Pro 7. So what are some distractions? Distractions could be a system that somebody else is using in another team because you're stuck and you think your system sucks. Okay? That can be a big distraction in your team. The big distraction that I see at the upper ranks, and I want to just kind of put it in your mind now, is where people start to introduce other ways of making money to their downline. This could be in the form of other business deals, real estate deals. Maybe it's a lifelong pursuit that you wanted to do, right? If it involves making money, I'm just going to give you a golden rule. If it involves making money, keep your downline out of it. Okay? Because here's the question for you. Let's say you wanted to go open a fishing charter business, all right? That's what you want, lifelong dream. I want to have a fishing charter business, okay? That's fine. You can go do that. It's your lifelong dream. Go open the business, have the boats, go do it. But on the last day of the month, do you want everybody in your downline running a fishing charter business?
No.
What do you want them doing on the last day of the month? LifeVantage. You want them doing phone calls. Well, guess what? What message does it send to your team if you're running other businesses and building income in other things? What message does that send to the downline?
They don't think it's not enough.
It's not important. The comp plan's not good enough. Right? So, I have investments, guys. Other elites and masters have investments. But I don't involve my downline. And I don't do it publicly. I keep it to myself. And I may have business partners, but they're not in my downline. Okay? Do not do that. It's a massive. So just keep asking yourself, if what I do, would I want my entire team doing the same thing? Right? If I'm going to go buy nice, fancy, expensive cars, do I want my whole team buying nice, fancy, expensive cars? I think about that, right? And it's okay to spend the money, but just make sure you're doing it at the appropriate time. Because, if you've got a lot of money and you've got little to no debt, you're okay to buy nice, expensive cars, but not when your team knows you have tons of debt and you're not doing or making the money you're supposed to make, all right? I've got this in my notes because it's never going to be said from stage at Elite Academy. I have seen big businesses ruined by intimate relationships inside of LifeVantage. Okay, if you've got problems with your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, don't try to solve that inside LifeVantage. It will destroy your downline. Okay, don't do that. Okay, now I know some people have met each other in LifeVantage, and that might, usually some of the ones that I know, like they've already the other spouses are gone, and then they find the love of their life in LifeVantage. Fantastic. But
we've got newlyweds.
oh, congratulations. Nice.
Her husband.
Nice. Congratulations. That's a great story.
This is the honeymoon.
Is it really? That's awesome. I just personally have seen some of my own downline. I've watched $150,000 in volume be destroyed because someone made some bad decisions about being with somebody else that wasn't their mate. Now you get the point?
Yes.
As soon as the plane takes off for us, my wife and I, we look at each other and we're like, it's game time. Right? Your team's watching you. They're watching everything you do. Everything you do. So just be real careful. Don't hug anybody too long, and don't hang out with too many people of the opposite sex too long. Okay? Don't do that. Oh, and let me tell you this. As you rank advance more and as you make more money, there'll be more opportunity coming your way for that kind of behavior.
Oh, yeah.
As you make more money, as you make more money in this business, there'll be more opportunities for you to make a bad decision. When it comes to,
I didn't mean I was making bad decisions. I mean, I was propositioned when everybody knew my husband in my last company, never in this company, so many times that I never got picked up that many times when I was single because I was a top earner at the last company. So yes, it's like when you're like a mini celebrity and like, this is a different kind of people. We're all professionals. My last company, not so much.
yeah. Okay.
So Brandon, you know, except for that one time Brandon picked up on me, but we're not gonna talk about that.
Oh, Brandon, I'm just kidding.
Let's see.
It's made him blush. He's so nice.
Trying to think of that one time in Vegas. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think I've ever hung out with you without your wife, so it's all right.
It's all good. I'll be on cruise.
Yeah, that's true. Josie wants to kiss my husband when she...
That's I heard that. I
No,
heard that.
she told me that if I hit prone out, I can kiss Chris for 10 minutes. She said that and she
I think what he's trying to say is keep this as your side hustle. Not trying to find.
Okay, when it comes to, I got to keep moving. When it comes to distractions,
Tara Wilson had it.
yeah, Tara's distracting me. Let's go. When it comes to distractions, your team is going to upset you at times, many times. The difference between a Pro 6 earner and a Pro 7 earner, in my opinion, is their ability to communicate effectively to the team when they're really pissed off. So, just a little word of advice. Never ever communicate with your team through text message when you're mad. Or email. Don't do that. And if you're really mad, sit on it a night. Just give it a night before you communicate back with them. Okay? Because they will upset you. And if you really want to distract your team, go toe-to-toe with somebody in your downline to try and prove a point. It's devastating. Don't do that. Okay? Just treat your downline like your children. Okay? Massive sacrifice. It's going to take massive sacrifice for your team, and they're going to be unappreciative, just like your kids. Okay? Your kids have no idea the amount of sacrifice you've made for them, and they won't appreciate it till they're an adult. So your downline, they won't appreciate what you've done until they get to where you are. If you're a Pro 5 now, your downline won't be appreciative of you until they're a Pro 5. If
But
you're a
what
Pro
if
8,
But what if you've got no kids yet? So how do you treat them?
well, ask your mom.
Oh, okay.
What was that question? Sorry.
He's like, if you don't have any kids, how do you know how to treat them?
I have no experience, so go ask me.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about self-care. I talk about charging a battery. This will make sense to a lot of you guys. Can you even imagine going a day without charging your battery? Like crazy, right? You know, there's no way we would go more than a day without charging our cell phone, right? Because it just wouldn't work. But all of you probably are going days without charging your own battery. You just think you can go to bed whenever you want to go to bed, and you wake up, you sleep as much as you possibly can, get up at the last minute, and go do the things you need to do. And one of the biggest things I see in this business that's a big mistake moving into the next phase is that you're not taking care of yourself. And so I'm going to challenge all of you right now that the first hour you wake up, you don't touch your cell phone for the first hour. Hard, huh? Like, ugh. Ugh. 10? Okay. That would be really hard to do, right? But that hour, for me, is what allowed me to go to Pro 10. That hour. Because if I didn't do that, my team drained me. My team and your team drains you. They drain you all day long. And if you never recharge your battery, The next day, you're in the hole. You can't charge your team's battery. You got one job to charge your team's battery. That's the only job you've got. And if you're not charging your battery, so you know what motivates you, or what charges your battery, what it is, and it's simple things for me. I hate reading. I despise it, so I listen to things as much as I can, but I do read. So I just do what I do between 10 p.m. I try to go to in bed or close to it by 10. I try to be out by 11. And then I wake up 6 to 7-ish. First hour is all personal development. Spiritual, business, relationship, that's what it is for me. My team thinks I'm like this personal development guru. All I do is read things and repeat it. Read something amazing, repeat it to your team that day. They're going to think, oh, you just read something and repeated it. But the problem is most people aren't reading it, so they never repeat it. And then their team's looking for someone else to plug into, not you. And when they start going around you, you got a problem. If your team's not plugging into you, it's because your battery's not charged more than theirs. They know they can't go to you for help, so they're going to someone else for help. Someone else's battery's better, and you are done. Okay? Charge your battery. I do a little workout. I know Tara's walking right now, and you probably feel amazing, ready to just slay the day. Yep. Right? So take care of yourself. It's what most people are not doing. Right? Do that, and things are going to start to happen a little bit better for you. Make sure I'm getting some of this stuff. Oh, we did set, when it comes to self-care and personal development too, we did set a budget. My wife and I have a personal development budget. We've spent over $100,000 since we started this. Last year we spent $30,000 in personal development, which I know sounds like a lot of money, but it's not for a Pro 10. It's a small portion, and it was so valuable. I spent $16,000 for an 8-hour session last year. 16 grand for 8 hours with this guy. And what came out of that 8 hours has made me so much more than $16,000. In fact, South Florida, Higdon.
Oh, really, Ray?
He helped me develop our core values. So with an 8-hour program with Ray Higdon, we developed 7 core values for our team that have just been so instrumental. If you don't have core values in your team, start working on it. Start working on it. You can't have a good culture in your team if your team doesn't know what you are or who you are. If your team doesn't know who you are, you don't have culture. They need to know who you are. Okay? And we spell it out. We take one core value every week on our team calls. We take a 7-week rotation. Every week we change one of the values. 5 minutes on the core value. Let me tell you the difference between 100% and 99%. Because you guys, in order to get a Pro 6 and Pro 7, you're going to have to sell out to LifeVantage. I know a lot of you are just kind of, you think you've sold out, but you've not sold out. You're going to have to sell out. You're going to have to put all your chips in, that this is it. And let me tell you why. If you don't, everybody that's around you knows you haven't. Okay? Now, it doesn't mean, because we've already said, I started this by giving you the formula. You're not leaving your jobs to go do this. I told you when to do that, right? So what I mean by selling out is this is your focus. Your job is just paying the bills. This is your focus. Now, here's a story for you. Before I left Florida yesterday, what if I kissed my wife, told her I love you so much? We've been married 28 years, right? And I'm committed to our relationship 99%. It's 99%. I mean, that's a lot. That's not good enough, ladies?
No.
Yeah, because you know what? My wife wouldn't care about the 99. She only cares about the 1%.
I told you guys about him. No.
I set her up for it. So let me tell you about network marketing. No one cares about the 99%. They only care about the 1%. Your team knows if you're not 100%. Your network, the people you're inviting to LifeVantage, they know if you're not 100%. 99% is not, you should be nothing. Don't even do this at all if you're not 100%, because you're going to get stuck. It's over. In fact, if you get stuck in and you get stuck in LifeVantage for more than maybe a year at a rank, that might be tough. I shouldn't put numbers out there. It's because you're not 100% sold out. You got something distracting you. You got something else on your mind, and your team feels it. You feel it. Okay? You have to be sold out to this company. And let me tell you something. We've all as adults sold out to a job for most of our life that doesn't care about us at all. We've sold our souls for the first 10, 20, 30 years of our life to a job that cares nothing about us. It's time to sell out to life.